Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. Tonight, I am joined by the two stalwart regulars of our Wednesday sessions, Jeffrey and Steve-O.
Yep.
Tonight, we're taking a bit of a break from our Shadow the Demon Lord campaign because I fell behind on planning. And tonight, we are going to take a trip back to Savage World to take the system for a spin again, this time trying out the superpowered companion. Now, this is effectively like the how to play superheroes rules that have been released for Savage Worlds. And at the time of the recording, this is actually the second edition of the Superpowers Companion. This is, there was an earlier version as well, which is here. But this one is, there's been a substantial rewrite of the system, and I'm really interested to see how it plays. Savage Worlds is one of those games where it plays very, very differently than it reads. The game I don't think reads as particularly deep or particularly mechanically involved, but it plays really, really well at the table. So Steve and Jeff were good enough to agree to take some superheroes out for a spin tonight. So what I have sent over some template characters that I put together, or archetype characters, I should say, that they're going to choose from. So guys, you did get my email with the character sheets, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do any of the five sort of jump out as someone you'd be interested in taking for a spin?
Yeah, just looking through them.
Iron Suit guy is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Battle Suit.
Battle Suit, okay. How about you, Jeff? Any of them jump out, or any of them obviously suck?
I'll just try out this first one here, the brick.
Brick, okay, cool. So I am going to, while we're doing this, I'm just going to quickly print the first two characters. So I've got character sheets for you. So the two characters that Steve and Jeff are going to be playing are the brick and the battle suit. These are just archetypes that are, to be honest, what I'm doing is I'm repurposing the taking the builds that are in the DC Adventures role-playing game, or the 3rd edition Mutants and Masterminds role-playing game, and seeing how they will look in Savage Worlds. So Jeff is going to be playing a very strong, very tough guy, and Steve is going to be playing kind of like an Airsats Iron Man guy in a battle suit with a lot of tech abilities and so forth. So as I mentioned before we went live, guys, here we go. So let's see. Hey, they printed in color too. So there is the brick. Oop. There we go. Big, tall, iron-skinned dude, and the battle suit. These are terrible. I guess I should move my fucking head. How's that? Here we go. Boo. Whoop. Does that focus? There we go. All right, so guys, as a refresher, here's how things work in Savage Worlds. Each of your characters' abilities and skills has a set dice next to it. When you are making a skill check, you're going to roll one of those, like whatever dice corresponds to the number, and you're also going to roll a d6. And you'll find whichever one is highest, that will be your result. So, for instance, Jeff, if you are going to make a fighting attack, you would roll a d10 and a d6, and whichever one is highest is the one that you would keep. Oh. Hey, Steve-O, did we lose you? Oh. Jeff, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. I got Steve on the call twice now. Ooh. Steve-O? Oh, we may be having some technical issues with him. While we're waiting for Steve to sort out his technical issues here, or join the call a third time. So Jeff, what I think that most of your abilities should be pretty straightforward. Your guy is real tough, really strong. Like he can lift up to.
Oh, you sound funny.
Yeah, you know what, Steve? It's because you're on the call twice right now. Let me try and boot you from one of these times. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Is that better now? Steve-O, hello. You may be having some connectivity issues there, Steve.
I can sort of hear you.
Okay, so I think you're having some connectivity issues, Steve. Your internet connection, maybe. I'm seeing your camera is a little jerky. Is it looking the same way for you, Jeff?
Yeah, he's freezing.
Yeah, I know.
How's that? Well, maybe it may just be a surge, maybe passing. Can you hear us now, Steve?
Let's see what we can do about this.
Oh, Steve, you sound pretty good now, and the camera's moving pretty good.
I can hear you. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, just a minor problem. So, sorry, what I was saying, Steve, is that
Yeah. So yeah, good. Okay, good.
Great. So what I was saying before was that just as a refresher for the system, when you are making task resolution rolls, like skill rolls or ability rolls, you're rolling a dice equal to whatever skill or attribute that you're using, and you also roll a d6, and then you take the highest of those two. You don't add them together. You just take whichever one's highest. And if you happen to roll what is the highest number on that dice, if you roll a 10 on a d10 or a 6 on a d6, you roll again and add it to it. So because you're using Roll20, just make sure you're, if you go into the dice roller, you know, on the left-hand side there, you can open up, there's that dice roller. Click on exploding. I think there's a little tick box. You can put it on and off. Just tick it so that it's exploding.
Okay. Separate or compounded?
Compounded.
Compounded. Shadowrun style. All right.
Okay. Now, for, let's see here. Jeff, I think most of your abilities, like I said, should be pretty straightforward. You can lift like 100 tons, so you're real strong. You can leap pretty far too. You've got an ability called Death from Above. So if you leap and then attack at the end of your leap, you get +3 to damage.
Nice.
Yeah. You can survive in space. You don't breathe. So your armor is it's called heavy. So heavy is like heavy armor is something that's effectively so tough it cannot be affected by normal attacks. It has to be a heavy thing. So like when we played Rifts, remember there was mega damage and normal damage?
Yeah.
Just like that. So because your guys got heavy armor, basically like anything short of like a bazooka is not going to hurt you. They don't even roll damage. You also have an ability called Hardy, which is if you become shaken, and that'll come up in our first combat, you have to basically, for you to actually get wounded, the way wounds work in this game is when someone makes an attack or a damage roll against your toughness, if they hit your toughness or higher, you're first shaken, and then for each raise, so every time it's 4 more than the number, they cause a wound. The thing is that you can only take wounds when you take wounds. You can never get another shaken result will never cause a wound. It's really hard to actually, someone has to really get a good hit on you for you to really start getting injured.
Right. Okay.
What else here? You've got that, your edges are kind of like your feet in D&D, or like your, what are they called in Iron Kingdoms? Abilities, I think, in Iron Kingdoms. So basically, you got combat reflexes. So when you are shaken, you may remember this from the last session, Jeff. When you're shaken, you have to make a spirit check to try and recover from it. And you've got an ability called combat reflexes, which gives you +2 to that roll. So basically, it means that as long as you don't roll a 1, you're going to succeed.
Right. Okay.
So, and the last one is take the hit. So what you can do, each of you guys has 3 bennies. I got them here. Ooh, fancy dice. Bennies are used in the superhero game for a couple different things. For one, you can re-roll a dice roll with it. 2, you can spend 1, roll a d6, and then add that to the result. You can also use that to soak wounds. When you take a hit that causes you wounds, you can spend a Benny, make a vigor check, and then depending on each success and each raise you get, reduces the amount of wounds you take by 1.
Okay.
And when you make that roll, Jeff, you get a +2 to that. So you're just very, very, very tough. And that's kind of it for your guy. I mean, like he's a pretty. Well, we're going to talk in a moment. Once I go through Steve's guy, we'll talk about what one of the ways this differs from the previous versions of the superhero or superpower companion, and the way this differs from other Savage settings. So, Steve, your guy obviously is a battle suit. So a lot of your powers all come from your, the suit of armor or the high-tech suit of armor that you wear. You can fly. You've got a comm system, so you can tap into radio and television up to 100 miles away. You don't breathe. You can survive in space. You've got heightened senses, so effectively you ignore illumination penalties. You can see perfectly in the dark, and your enhanced senses give you a +2 to notice and investigation checks.
Nice.
You have what else here? You got a wireless connectivity, so you can because your ability, you have your armor can connect with electronic gadgets. You get a huge bonus, a +4 bonus to when you're using computers or other electronics.
Okay.
And that can be combined with your comm system, so you could tap into things and then try and hack them or alter them or whatever.
Nice. Okay. And I've got MacGyver ability too.
Yes, your MacGyver Edge is very cool. So you can improvise something when the need for a tool arises. So you don't suffer any penalties when you for doing repair checks without equipment, and you can do like the MacGyver thing. You can craft something at the last second, even though you didn't think to bring shit with you. In addition to your Mr. Fix-It gives you a +2 to your repair rolls, and it halves the time you normally take to make things or repair things on a success.
Nice.
So typical genius. You also have a cool ability called Rock and Roll. What that does is normally when you are firing a rapid fire weapon, you roll a number of dice equal to the rate of fire for whatever skill you're using. So if you're firing a rifle, like a gun gun's got a rate of fire 3, you would roll 3 dice equal to your shooting plus your wild die, the D6. Take the highest 3, and that would apply. But normally when you're firing in that rapid fire mode, you take -2 to hit. What Rock and Roll allows you to do is, as long as you don't move, you suffer no penalty.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason that's important for you is because you have 4 different combat systems. Your default combat system is your super strength. But you can choose, just like your characters in DC Adventures, you can choose to change that slot and apply those points to a different power. Those include a concussive blast, which is just one big, powerful, shot. Good against one target. It's a heavy weapon, so it's good if you want to hurt something that is quite tough, like say Jeff's character. You've got a second mode, which is the overload wave, which is just, it fills a medium burst template. So you fire out this one area that hits and then explodes and hits a bunch of things within it.
Nice.
That doesn't do quite as much damage, but it's not a heavy weapon, but it does hit a lot more targets. So great for clearing out crowds of minions or whatever. And the final one you've got is pulse cannons. That one doesn't do as much damage, but its rate of fire is 4. So it's firing a whole bunch of shots off at once, and that combines with your Rock and Roll Edge. So as long as you don't move, if you switch into pulse cannons, you can fire a barrage of pulse bolts, and you don't take a penalty to hit as long as you don't move. That's your character in a nutshell. So those are your characters in a nutshell. Now, one of the things that that's a signature of comic book movies, comics in general, and comic cartoons is when we see when we see characters do things with their powers that we didn't know they could do before, or they try using their powers in interesting new ways. There are some games like DC Adventures that does a really good job of simulating that. You can spend a hero point in DC Adventures and then act as if you got a new power. And it only lasts for the scene, but that's a really fucking great feature of that game. One of the downsides to Champions is that it doesn't, as rules as written, you cannot do that, and it's not a very easily, it's not a very easy thing to do in that game either, because you do have to spend a lot of points and whatnot. So it can be a very cumbersome thing to do. This game, in this edition of it, they do that, and in two different ways that I think are really interesting. So one of the ways that, guys, is you can choose to spend a Benny. This is a power stunt. You spend a Benny, and it grants you a 1-use effect of any instant power or 3 rounds of any passive power.
Oh, so, it's just any old power.
Any power you got. Like, let's say, I don't know, like, let's say you decide you want to use your flight abilities. You're like, I'm going to supercharge my boosters and use those to boost my strength up. You say, okay, sure, spend your Benny, and then I'll take those points and put it into your strength. So then we recalculate your strength, and suddenly you've got, this extra stuff in there.
Nice.
But that's just an example. It's completely limited only by your imagination. I mean, subject to my approval, of course. Like it's got to be something that fits the narrative of your character. But it's a really cool way of allowing you to do something very different, like a completely different power that you didn't have before. And I love that. The other way that they address it is there are things called power tricks. And basically what they do is they're not quite brand new powers, but what they do is they allow you to use your existing powers to do something other than their normal effect. And those things, they're just, for the purpose of the rules, they're just set as 4 different things. You can delay, which will mean you can slow down the target. You can lower the defenses, so you make them easier to be punched. You can lower their trait, which gives them a penalty on their attribute and then whatever skills are related to it. Well, actually, there's 5 things. You can set up, which would give +2 to one of your allies. Or you can slow, which just means their pace is slowed by half. And the way you do that is you make your normal attack roll or power use roll, but you do it at -2. Now, the way that the examples they give, though, is that any one of your powers can be used to do any of these things. So, Jeff, let's say that you decide you want to use your super strength to do a slow thing. One way that could be used is you could say, I'm not gonna hit the person. I'm just gonna slam the ground and create all these tremors that go out, and that will reduce their pace down to half. That doesn't cost you any bennies. It just means you make what I think it would do is their resistance check against that would be at would get a +2. What else? Or you could say, I want to daze them. You could slap your fists together, or your hands together and create a concussive wave, right? That stuns them, or like an explosive thunderclap that stuns them and slows them down. Or whatever. Or that could be, that same effect could be used to set up your ally, or it could be used to lower their defenses. Like, it's a really neat kind of halfway point to allow you to use your powers in neat ways without having to get to the rules to figure out what your new power would be.
Right.
So those 2 things I would encourage you to think about, because I think the really, really neat thing with those 2 options is that it leaves you with way more options than what are actually on your character sheet. And it, like a lot of other Savage Worlds things, it really is, it depends on what's happening in the story, right? For it to determine whether or not you can or cannot do that stuff.
Right.
So I'm interested.
I always like this. Yeah, I always like that stunting ability in DC, of course. And of course, the fun part of superheroes is when you find some new function of your abilities, right?
Totally. Yeah, and one thing I really do love about this, your PowerPoints are completely separate from your abilities and your advancement. So you guys are playing, the characters you have there are novice, brand new starting characters. They have a whole shit ton of growth that they could go through in the course of a campaign of play. But your powers, at the rules as written, the powers don't ever go up. You don't get new powers. You don't get new, like, oh, now I can do more damage with my blast and whatever. which I think is a really smart way of avoiding the power creep that comes with a superhero role-playing game and focusing on the character rather than just the power set.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like,
So
I just have to go to the walk. I'll be right back.
Oh, sure.
I'll
yeah.
be back in 1 minute.
Final thing I'll go through for you then, Jeff, is so you've got the hindrances are the things that you had picked for your character before for Sam. These guys now I built these as heroes, so I'm not fussed. I'm going to leave it to you guys to whether you're playing heroes or villains tonight. But the hindrances that I picked for the brick were to make him sort of like a surly Hulk type character.
Right.
You absolutely do not need to pick him or play him that way. But if you choose to, then this, I think it provides some good role-playing cues as to what your character would be like.
Right.
So, while Steve's going to the washroom, what do you think? Do you want to play heroes or villains tonight?
Well, so I was thinking that I would play the brick as like Mr. Fix-It. Like when the Hulk was, I don't know if you remember those stories where he was separated from Banner and he became sort of the Gray Hulk and he lived his own life. And he was like a fixer for the casino owners.
Yeah.
They would like hire him to do jobs for him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He sort of just lived in Vegas and, I don't know, was the Hulk. It was pretty, there's some fun issues.
Yeah.
So I was thinking I could play a character sort of like that, you know, like based on that idea.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's kind of a gray area character, right? He's not like truly villainous, but, you know.
But he's mercenary.
He's a mercenary, essentially, and it's like, I think I would play him as, maybe instead of heroic, it's more like it's all about the money. Like, you know, he has a heart, he can't turn down a paycheck.
Okay.
If someone's offering him money to do something, and if it's a really good payday, he's almost obligated in that way to be a part of it.
Then that is an easy switch to make because we make you're not heroic, you are greedy.
Well, there you go. That's perfect. I would keep arrogant. I like that.
Yep.
And I mean, he's still distinctive appearance. He's still mean, and just change heroic to greedy, and good to go.
Perfect. Okay. So when Steve gets back, we'll see what he's playing. I love the idea of a Vegas character too. That gives us a much more interesting place to.
Yeah, when you suggested maybe we would play villains, and I saw this guy, and I thought, oh, that would be fun to do like a Mr. Fix-It's some of my favorite issues of Hulk. I really love that character.
The whole Peter David was the writer of the Hulk at that time, and his whole run from that through till I stopped reading in about the mid '90s. But there was he encountered after he left that and he became green again. He was with this group called the Pantheon for a time.
Yeah.
And while he was there, it was during that story arc. There's a guy named Dale Keown who did the art on it, and he. Oh my God, my favorite Hulk, bar none. Like his take on the Hulk is just fucking perfect.
Yeah, he left and did his own Hulk-like character at Image Comics, right?
Yeah, Pitt.
Yeah, Pitt. Yeah, that's it.
Pitt is my character. The thing when people know who the Pitt is, Pitt's my reference to because I got an argument with Brent about the Great Wall and Tremors, and I was trying to say like, oh no, Tremors is a good film. It just it's a genre film, but it's exactly what it intends to be. Whereas Great Wall is just a shitty film.
Right.
Great Wall. What's up with that crazy piece of crap?
Like it's okay to like bad things, and I use the Pitt as my example. The Pitt is a terrible fucking comic. Like it's a horrible story. It's just dumb. The characters are ridiculous, but I love it because I love Keown's art. Like I don't care how dumb the story is.
It's totally. Well, I mean that was the whole Image Comics thing. Was like they were all terrible writers, but they were the best artists in the business, and so their books sold because they look great.
Jeff, why don't you tell Steve about your character, who you're playing then?
Oh, okay. So, Steve, do you know the Mr. Fix-It version of Incredible Hulk?
Mr. Fix-It version. No, I don't.
Okay, well, there was a time when Hulk, I don't know, Banner did something where he was able to separate the Hulk from himself, and they became their own entities. And so the Hulk turned gray, and he was forever out of Banner. And he moved to Vegas, and he just sort of did jobs for like casino owners and whatever. And he just lived in Vegas, being the Hulk.
Nice.
And so I was telling Kev I was going to make my character sort of like that version of the Hulk. Someone living in Vegas, doing jobs,
concrete jobs.
casino owners.
Builds pools. You know.
Yeah. Essentially, he's greedy, and
Okay.
money talks in his world. So if someone offers him a job and there's enough money on the line, he can't really say no.
Okay, so I think we'll have you working as casino security at the start of the adventure. Steve, what do you think your are you a hero or are you a villain?
Me?
Yeah, your character, the battle suit.
Let's say, well, seeing as how we're going slightly bad on this one, let's say he's a villain. He's a bit of a thief. He's sort of a guy gone. He's a disgruntled engineer who is totally underappreciated in his own mind. And so he said, "Fine, well, I'm going to take my own ideas and do my own thing." And then he went and built his own. Slowly started accumulating various bits of technology, which he then eventually incorporated into a suit. And all the while, he was using his technology to steal money.
Awesome.
And, yeah.
Okay. So let's say that you guys are. We'll replace your heroic hindrance with greedy as well. So the hindrances are another reason why I really love. A reason I love Savage Worlds, but also a reason why I think this is a really great game for superheroes. Because if you think of the things about, like I should say as a preface for those listening at home, given the choice, I'm probably more of a DC guy than I am a Marvel guy. So I'm not shitting on DC in the context of saying this, but the DC characters are not as defined, I don't think, with the exception of Batman, by their pathos, by their internal struggles. Marvel characters were intentionally created in the 60s to be like that, right? To have internal conflict, right? Like the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards is cursed with the fact that he made all his friends and family into freaks. Ben Grimm is a heart as big as all outdoors, but he looks like a monster, and everyone reacts to him that way too. Peter Parker wants to be a hero and whatever else, but he's got all the powers to make himself a super popular guy, but he can't do any of that shit, right? That's the stuff that makes, I think, for Marvel, the Marvel characters sometimes more engaging on the face than what the DC characters are. Is because it's easier to understand what the struggles, the internal struggles they're going through. Tony Stark is an alcoholic, right?
Yeah, lots of struggles.
Yes, and so that's where this translates. When you create a character in Savage Worlds, you pick hindrances to be sort of like the character ticks that are drawbacks. So for the battle suit, you've got enemy who's a minor. It's a rival of roughly equivalent power. I had as heroic, but we'll switch that to greedy. You want money. You'll do anything for money. Overconfident. There's nothing out there that can defeat you. And stubborn. You always want your way. So do those sound consistent with how you're picturing your guy, Steve?
Totally. He's an arrogant jerk.
I love it. Okay. So the what is your character's name, Jeff?
Let's see here. His name is Greg. Greg. Yeah.
Does he have a superhero name?
Yeah, I'm gonna say they call him. His superhero name is the Fixer.
The Fixer. I love it. Okay. How about you, Steve? What is your supervillain name?
His actual name is Wilco Loxley.
I love it.
and his superhero name is, we're not sure. He's
Take a look at that blue. You know what? If you really want an easy thing, you can call him just Cobalt because he's very blue.
I like that. Cobalt. That's a good one.
Okay. So Wilco Loxley, that's like the most comic book name I've heard today. Oh my gosh. If you want to make your character sound very comic booky too, Jeff, just give him a last name that starts with a G.
Right. Totally.
All right. So our scene opens in in some kind of very big, Las Vegas casino. We see an establishing shot that shows that this is on the Strip. It's some big fancy casino. And then we cut inside and we hear some woman's like, "Ah, jackpot!" And the money starts pouring out of the slot machine. We pan over and that all the tables are full. There was a lot of people milling around. The usual group of there are the Vegas locals. There's folks who just got married. There's young people who are out for a crazy weekend out. There are the hardcore serious gambling types. There are the ultra rich who are surrounded by bodyguards and and beautiful men or women. And there are the exotic sheikhs and whatnot who are at some of the high stakes tables as well. As we pan across the group, we can see that there is someone talking to one of the pit bosses, and this is a very tall man whose skin appears to be completely steel. It's like polished, like a polished 50s bumper. What's he wearing, Jeff?
I would say he's wearing a suit.
Okay. What color? What cut? Is this something that's
like a dark navy suit?
Is he going full on gangster with the pinstripes and stuff?
Yeah, maybe he's all. Yeah, he's it's his version. So it's all pinstripes. Maybe it's a silver thread for the pinstripes.
Love it.
Sort of to match his skin.
And he's got his monogrammed French cuff shirt has a small little what do you call it? How am I drawing a blank on this word? Cufflinks that actually look like they match his shiny, chrome skin. So you see this guy talk to one of the pit bosses, point off in some direction. The guy goes off, and then he goes back to surveying the crowd. And would you make a notice check for me, Jeff? So you're going to roll a D4 and a D6 and take whatever the highest is.
D4. Oh, 6. 11.
11. Oh, wow, awesome. Okay, so let's see here. So you see that in amongst the crowd, you note that there is one guy in a suit who he bumps into he seems to be distracted and looking around. He bumps into a cocktail waitress and sort of knocks a tray over. And as he pulls himself back, his suit jacket sort of folds, and you can see within it there's a giant kind of high-tech looking pistol that is stuffed within within the jacket. He also he sort of jerks back, and he tries to. The guy seems to be trying to calm things down pretty quickly. Vegas is an open carry, jurisdiction, so you're seeing a guy with a gun isn't necessarily unusual. Seeing a guy with a weird high-tech gun, experience has taught you that means something is up. So with
he's very distracted because he bumped into our cocktail waitress.
Yeah.
How far away is he from me?
He's probably about maybe like 30 feet or so.
Okay, I'll make my way over towards him.
Okay, so you start making your way over towards him. We see that there's another guy dressed in a similar sort of suit, a middle-aged guy who looks over and sees the big silver character moving towards the man who we saw had the gun. He places his hand up to his ear and says, "Boss, I think that sell may have been made." And we cut outside, and we see hovering above the casino, about maybe 100 feet up, there is what looks like a figure standing on two pillars of flame. and we see that it is Cobalt, the blue and black armored character who is sort of arms crossed, and you're floating in the air, waiting, and the message is coming through onto your headset. You've got from inside, you got this sort of heads-up display where you have hacked into the casino cameras, and you can see this same scene. Now, to let you know what's going on, Steve, these guys are part of the robbery that you're about to pull off in the casino.
Okay.
And you knew that there was a, rumored to be a superhuman sort of bodyguard there, or a superhuman guy who's guarding the casino. But you know that what do you call it? You sort of accounted for, you had a plan in place to deal with him, but now it seems like one of your goons is about to get, caught. So what are you doing?
Well, with my super fast calculating mind, I also have comm. I can communicate to the rest of the guys, right?
Mm-hmm. You got about 10 minions, I think.
10 minions, okay.
Yeah.
I say to the rest of the minions, plans have stepped up, gentlemen. It looks like we're about to be made here. Be on your guard. And then I start to sort of position myself to dive in through the windows if I have to.
Okay, so you're going down. You are overconfident as well, so I think that maybe your part of your plan probably involves a shock and awe kind of appearance on your part.
Okay, I like it. Make a scene.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, Jeff, we come back to you getting closer to this minion. He's going to catch him in a minute here, Steve. Are you going to let your minion get caught before?
I say, to that minion, I say, you've been made, fool. Either assume your position or come outside if you don't think. Try to find out who your assailant will be. I say to him, can you?
Okay, so the guy sort of, Jeff, the guy who you're walking up to, he sort of jerks, stops, he spins around, and then he sees you, makes eye contact, and it's like, oh. He says over the mic to you, Steve, it's him. And Jeff, you hear him say, it's him, to Nolan, apparently. What I think we'll do now, guys, is why don't we deal some initiative? And then we'll just start going in that order. So you guys may remember that initiative in this game is tracked by cards.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I will deal out the. I'm not going to look at them before I go. I was looking back at the rifts thing, and it was more exciting to just hold the card up to the camera rather than have me look at it and then dramatically reveal. So that way we'll all learn at the same time as to what order this is going in. So the cards are shuffled. Jeffrey, you're first up in my camera order here. So Jeff. Oh, Jack of Spades, nice. Steve-O. Oh, not good.
All right, bad.
Problems, right?
And the minion. Now, normally minions just act on your, like when you have them under your control, you just use them on your turn. One of the neat things with this game is that it makes it real fucking easy for you to control a whole bunch of other people. The game originated, Savage Worlds originated as a tabletop miniatures game. It was the Great Rail Wars, and then they decided to rejig it, and it eventually turned into the game we all know and love now. Anyway, enough of that trivia. So your minions, just so you know, this will only be for this encounter because I want to see if these guys act before or after. The minion is going to act on a boom. Oh, 8 of hearts. Jeffrey, you're up first. What are you doing?
I'm going to close the distance now really quickly between me and this guy.
Okay.
I'm going to look at it. I'm going to bend down and grab him by the ankle and pick him up and hold him upside down in front of me.
Okay.
And look him in the face and say, it's indeed me.
So
now, who are you talking to?
Would you give me a fighting check, please? And remember, you're going to roll a D10 and a D6, and whichever one's highest is what you're going to get.
Oh, holy crap. He's in trouble. I'm 11.
Ooh, so you got it with 2 raises. Are you doing damage to this guy, or are you just trying to secure him?
No, I mean, his ankle might hurt tomorrow, but I'm just, flipping him upside down and holding him by his leg in front of me.
Okay, you know what I'm going to say with the raise is that so you grab him, he sort of like tries to get away, and you quickly scoop down, you grab his leg, and you've got him upside down. His gun tumbles out of the holster and falls on the ground. You can see he's kind of like, oh, trying to reach for it. And I'm sorry, what was it you said?
I said, indeed, it is me. Now, who are you talking to?
He's got me! He's got me! You hear over the mic. Now, Steve, you have 9 other guys who are in there, all with high-tech guns that you have crafted for them.
Right.
What would you like to do?
I think
what are they going to do? They go next, then it's you.
they will go and get the money, is what they will do.
I think it's a holdup, not a, or maybe it is. Yeah, so that you're going to focus on them like breaking their way into the count room or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they can go and grab the cash, and then they can't handle this guy, so I'll be dealing with Mr. Big Shot.
Okay, let me think here. I think what I'm going to get you to do, Steve, is roll. Roll 2d6 on the thing, and make sure that the sets so they explode as well too. And let's see how you do. I'm not logged into Roll20, so just tell me how you roll, what your highest roll is.
All right. 2d6 exploding, and my highest roll was a 2.
You rolled like a 1 and a 2, or a 2 and a 2?
I rolled a 1 and a 2. Yes.
Oh, shit. Okay, so you have 3 bennies. You can choose to accept that roll, or you can spend a benny and re-roll because the minions are under your control. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. You know what? I think you need to have the leadership edge in order to do that. Let me double check that.
Don't think I have that edge. Arcane, MacGyver.
Let's see here.
Mr. Fix It, Rock and Roll. I don't see leadership.
Yeah, I don't think you you fools. You basically you say because you need to. You know what? Okay. Hold on, I may have that wrong. Let me just quickly look up the rules for minions.
Want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Really, seriously. Because I can't remember. Here we go. Allies. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, it's again one of these things where if once I look it up, I won't need to do it again. You know what? I'm just going to say that you can spend them, and I'll look it up afterwards. So yeah, if you want to spend your Benny to re-roll that roll, or one of your 3 Bennies, you can do that, Steve.
Oh, let's go for it. Here we go.
Okay.
2d6.
It's there for the spending.
It's there to be spent. And blam, and it exploded, and I got a 9. There we go.
9. Okay, so that's way better. Jeff, would you make a notice check for me now, please? I'm gonna give you a -2 to the roll.
I'm not very good at notice. Yeah, I got a 4. So I got a 2 total.
A 2 total. Wait, did you roll a 4? Like it was a 4 on your D4, or was a 4 on the D6?
No, 4 on the D6.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, so you don't notice that these other guys, like the camera sees these other guys are all going into action right now, but you're holding the guy upside down. So that's it for minions are done. Steve-O, what are you doing?
Then I will do a. Well, it looks like everything's sort of screwed up now, so I will do a concussive blast to blast in a whole range of windows in front of me, and just to send the crowd into a sort of a panicked frenzy. And then I will say to what's the guy's name?
Jeff's character?
Jeff's character's name.
The Fixer.
The Fixer. Hello, Mr. Fix It. Drop drop my minion and come and fight me like a man.
Nice. That's so good. Okay, so you played in character, absolutely. So I'm giving you a Benny again for that. So you have 3 again. Steve, you will love seeing these in person because they're like casino quality chips.
Nice. Where'd you? Oh, are they? They're from the game.
Vegas-centered showdown.
It's a which?
I said they're perfect for a Vegas-centered showdown.
Yeah, totally. Another unintentional consequence of this. Okay, great. So, Steve, I love your narrative flair for that. I just want to let you know if you're trying to hit, so you understand the difference between the different attack powers. Concussive blast will hit one thing. Your overload wave will hit a big area, and your pulse cannons will fire out a bunch of different shots. So,
okay, let's do overload. And then smash in all the windows. Yeah.
Love it. So
in my immediate area.
Explodes in and you drift in, floating. How far above the casino floor are you?
Let's say about 10 feet off the floor.
Okay, love it. People are screaming and sort of running in panic. Let's see what happens next round. Jeffrey, you're up first. Boom, you're acting. Oh, 3. Steve-O, a 9. And Miniones, a 4. Okay. So Steve, the minions, then Jeffrey. So Steve, what are you doing?
All right. So I see Mr. Fix-It, and I think that I will go and maybe I'll sort of do a flying slam into him. Yes, okay. To get him off by me.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and make a. Hold on here. I can't remember how to charge, because there are rules for a charge in this. Or I thought there was. Nope, I am totally mistaken. Okay, so what you need to do is make a fighting check against Jeff's parry.
Alrighty.
Go ahead and make your roll.
What's my fighting here? So I've got pace, charisma. What's my fighting check? Where is that?
Your fighting, I believe, is a D8.
So roll a D8 and a D6.
D8 and a D10?
A D8 and a D6.
D8
the D6 is the wild die. You always roll a wild die along with whatever your ability or skill is.
Okay, well, the D6 was a 1. D8, and my D8 is a 6.
Nice. Okay, so 6 is the highest.
So I roll a 6
actually, you know
D8.
what? The fixer's parry is a 7. So he sees you flying down towards him, and he knocks you aside, and you sort of, you fly past him. Okay, so that's it for you. The minions are making their way. I'm going to say the minions have, let's see here, it'll be 3 plus. Okay, so it'll be about 5 rounds until they're finished, like robbing the vault. This is currently they need 5. They're spending 1. They now need 4 more rounds to finish robbing, not the vault, the count room. Okay. All right, and then Jeffrey, what are you doing? So I think as you fly down, you probably smash through some, knock over a table or two, Steve.
Okay.
And
am I still holding this?
Yeah, you still got him in your hand.
I take his minion and I throw it at him.
Awesome. This gives us a perfect example, or perfect opportunity to talk about super strength. So one of the cool things with super strength is obviously you can pick up really heavy shit and use it as weapons. Depending on how heavy the thing is, tells you how much damage it will do. So for instance, a person is probably going to do another D12. Is that right? No, another person will do another D10 damage. So you'll be your strength plus D10. By comparison, if you pick up a 16-ton tank, that does D12 plus 8 plus your strength.
Wow.
Yeah, so the bigger the thing is that you pick up, the more damage it will do. So let's see how this goes, though. Jeff, would you kindly make a throwing check? Now, your target number is normally a 4, but because of the speed of Steve's battle suit, you take a -2 to hit. So you need a 6 or higher, effectively.
Okay. So I roll 2d6, and one of them needs to be a 6.
Yep.
No.
Okay, so you, Steve,
This guy just goes flying through the.
Yeah, he goes flying across the thing, smashes into like one of those what do you call it? Like one of the big things, and hits the ground, and you hear jackpot, jackpot, jackpot as more stuff starts spilling out over him.
I yell out, there! I put him down. Now I'm gonna rip you out of that tin can, and then we'll fight like men.
Nice. Okay, I'll give you a Benny for that. That was funny. Okay, next round. Jeffrey. Oh, you are playing with the Queen of Hearts. Steve-O.
Boom.
Ooh, 10 hearts. And Minion, actually the Miniones, it doesn't matter because they're not in the scene, so I won't bother with them. I'm gonna assume the minions will act on your turn from now on, Steve.
All right.
Jeffrey, you are up first. What would you like to do?
Okay, I will attempt to use my leaping attack to jump at Steve.
Love it. So you leap up. There's a crack in the ground as you jump into the air. You come flying through, and go ahead and make a fighting check for me, please.
And incidentally, when he jumps inside like this, there's like a scene where it slows down as he reaches the ceiling, and his hair just kind of grazes the top of the ceiling in the casino. He sort of practiced jumping in here to know how he can jump.
Does he have hair, or is it metallic as well? Are there sparks that?
Oh yeah, it's sort of like metallic hair.
That's awesome. Get up, scratch, and you're coming down. Let's see how it looks.
Oh, I rolled an 8.
Okay, let me. An 8. I think you know what. Even if his speed penalty applies, you're still gonna hit. So you come down, boom, no raise, but you do manage to connect. So would you kindly roll a D12 plus? So your strength, which is D12 plus 9, and your plus 3 because of your death from above ability. So it'd be D12 plus 12. D12 plus 12, yeah.
Nice.
Okay. And you don't roll the wild dice on damage.
Not on damage, but it does explode.
Okay.
If you roll it.
And Steve. That's a 12.
Oh,
roll again.
And an 8.
Wow. 20.
Lot.
So it's 32. All right, so Steve, your toughness is a 15.
Nice.
And you have heavy armor, which means that only heavy things can affect you, but a super strength of his level is heavy, so that means it definitely can hurt you.
Right.
So there's a couple things that happen. First off, because you rolled over 20 damage, Jeff, would you kindly roll 2d6 and tell me what you roll?
2d6. Like added together?
Yeah, just add them together. They don't explode.
7.
7. Okay, so Steve goes flying 7, so flying 14 yards away from knockback. So you go flying up and you're smashing through some of these what do you call it? Some of the
jackpot machines.
slot machines. And there's coins flying out everywhere. People are screaming.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Ding, ding.
Maybe that's where some of the actual damage came from.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's secondary damage that comes from that, but we'll deal with that in a second. So first off, let's do the math here. So you roll 32, which is 17 higher than what his toughness is. So, Steve,
Yes.
You may want to roll a. Right now, you're currently taking 17 is 4 over your toughness. Sorry, every 4 points over counts as a wound.
Right.
So the first level makes you shaken, and then each 4 points over that is a wound. Currently, you're about to take 4 wounds, which will kill you.
Right.
So what you want to do is spend a Benny, and then make a roll, make a vigor check.
Alrighty.
Use your higher one. It's a D12 plus 2.
Okay.
And you make sure you roll the D6 along with that, so you got your wild dice as well. And tell me which is the higher of the two.
All right. Well, it's a D12.
Yeah.
7 plus 2 is 9. And then my D6.
So 9 would be two of your wounds would be reduced.
All right. And
so
then
let's see if your D6 is better.
And my D6, I rolled a 2.
Okay, so it's not better. So currently you're dealing with 2. Now here's another thing you can do, Steve, is you can choose to spend a Benny to roll a D6 and add that to your dice result.
Let's do it.
So go ahead, go spend a roll D6. I'll spend a Benny for you.
All right. Rolling a D6, and I roll a 2. All right.
2 is good enough. Oh, it's not good enough. Because it adds to the 9, which makes it an 11. So you're 1 shy of getting that extra thing. So you do unfortunately suffer 2 wounds, and you're currently shaken. So you go bam, 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 through these things, and thanks to the heavy construction of your armor, you're able to survive this thing. But you hit the ground, and you're like,
one shaken, and then 3 wounds.
He's shaken and has taken 2 wounds. He took 4.
No, but like total. The total damage was shaken.
Yep. And then so you were 17 over, which counts as 4 wounds.
Oh, right, because every 4 would be 1 more.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
okay.
4 wounds, but he soaked 2 of those, so you've taken 2 wounds. What that means is you take -2 to all your checks for now. And if you take 2 more wounds, then you're going to be kaput. So you're sitting there, sort of like a crack in your display, and it sort of flutters a bit. And we can steal a line from what do you call it? Civil War, where your armor tells you, I'm detecting a concussion, and you're like, I detected that. All right, so now it is your turn. Now, because you are shaken, you have 2 options. You can spend your action making a spirit check to try and recover from being shaken. Mm-hmm. And if you succeed, then you're fine. If you succeed with a raise, so you roll an 8 or higher, you get to take an action as well as recover, or you can spend a Benny and recover automatically.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. First, I say, wait a second. Did I mention there's 100,000 in this for you? If you help me out.
Okay, so first off, you need to make a that'll be a free check. So you say that to the fixer. Oh fuck, that's good. And now, do you want to spend a Benny or do you want to make the roll?
Let's make the roll.
Take the roll. Okay, cool. Go ahead. Your spirit is a D6. So roll 2d6 and take the highest of the 2.
All right, 2d6 and take the highest of the 2.
That's awesome.
There we go. And so I got I got 5.
A 5. Okay, so you recover, but nothing further than that. Okay. So you're staggered to your feet. Okay, so that is it for your action. Let's see who's going first. Oh, the tension. Jeffrey? Ooh, 7 of clubs, so a middling card. Steve, can you beat that? Yep. Oh!
Boom, King of Spades.
King of Spades. So you are up first. What are you going to do?
First of all, so, huh? Huh? What do you say, big guy?
Jeff, do you have a response?
Yeah, the fixer, he takes this like little notebook out of his pocket. He's flipping through it. He's got a little pencil. He's like just checking something. He looks at me, he says, "If you double that number, we got a deal."
My friend, it's nice to be working with you. I always wanted to work with you, Mr. Fix-It.
Little sparks fly out of the armor.
Exactly. Mr. Fix-It walks over and he holds up his hand to sort of help him up from out of the wreckage of the VLTs.
Okay. So as you do that, there are a bunch of casino guards who come down, and they're all like, draw their weapons, and they say, "All right, so and I'll say there's a casino manager who's there too." And he's like, "All right, Greg, you got him. Leave him for us now." And so you're sort of surrounded by these, like, we'll say 8 casino guards. So you've come up. I think both of your actions have happened. What are you guys going to do? We'll draw initiative cards depending on what actions you take. So there's a moment where Cobalt gets up and there's, sparks come out and you're detecting hostiles. You can see in your display, there's like a, identifying all these hostiles with guns. And what are you guys going to do?
Can we stall?
Well, Mr. Fix-It looks at him. He says, "I'm sorry, Teddy. Our arrangements have changed."
Nice. Okay, so we will draw. Let's do initiative again. Jeff, you're on a 7 of hearts. Steve-O, you're on a 4 of clubs. Let's see what the casino staff is on. Boom. Oh, ace.
Ooh, interesting.
Okay, really, so they are up first. So you say that, and Teddy sort of shakes his head and he says, "I knew this wouldn't last." Open fire, boys! So they all start rattling away. Now, I don't even need to roll because both of you guys have heavy armor. So they're firing away and like these bullets are ricocheting off you guys, but there's no way they're ever going to do any damage to you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's their action. Next up is Steve. You got the 7 of hearts. Or Jeff, you got the 7 of hearts.
Mr. Fix-It laughs and he says, "Put your stupid guns away. You're going to injure the guests."
And almost on cue, one of the ricocheted bullets kind of hits this machine where this last person was hiding behind, and he kind of turns and runs.
And then he walks over and he says, "Just get out of our way." And he walks towards Teddy.
Okay. Steve, what are you doing?
All right. I immediately contact the rest of them and just say, "Hurry up, boys. We got to get out of here ASAP. Where are you at?"
We're in the just another couple of minutes. Another couple of minutes, boss.
I'll fly in there and actually help them out.
Okay, so you start take off, and actually with your speed, you can easily make it there. So you fly over, and there's as you land down, there's maybe like one more guy to rough up. So you land and knock him down, and maybe it was a security guard that was going to try and get he was like the brave guy hiding behind the wall. You're getting ready to jump out and sort of like freeze you guys kind of thing. And he's about to do that, and he's about to jump out, and then you drive, fly by and bop him in the head, and he falls unconscious. So you fly in there and you land. And so just one more round for them. Jeff, what are you doing?
He walks over to Ted. He takes out one of his business cards out of his pocket.
Yep.
He says, "Here, you can give this to the boss. If my situation ever changes, maybe he can give me a call."
I'm picturing that if we zoom in on the card, it's like pitch black, but with chrome colored lettering that says "The Fixer" on it.
Yeah. That's all it says.
So you slide it in there. All right, so you got the last of the money from the holding cell, and then you hear basically all the lights in the casino go down, off, and then back on again, and then they're still flickering like that. This was not part of your plan, Cobalt.
I scanned to try to figure out what's going on.
Oh, good use. Sure. Why don't you give me a knowledge science check? No, give me an investigation check. So investigation is a D6. So just roll 2D6.
2D6.
And I'll give you a +4 because you're using the computers, I'm guessing.
Oh, nice. Well, I got one exploded to an 8, so that would be a 12.
Awesome.
Nice.
So 2 raises.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're hacking through, and it looks like there's something going on actually near this, like the center of the strip. And you're looking through, and then you see that you finally get like footage from a cell phone that someone is, sort of like, oh my God, and filming, streaming live. There is some massive disc-shaped spaceship that hangs over the center of the the strip.
Hmm.
And it looks like that there's the lights on all up and down the strip are sort of like flickering on and off as this thing moves, over it.
Hmm. I say to the fixer, we may have company in the form of a spaceship, fixer.
So you fly back and tell him that?
Oh,
So remember, you were in the count room.
yeah, maybe I do actually fly out and tell him that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you fly back in. So that's what he says to you, fixer. What do you say?
A flying saucer?
That's what my readings tell me.
Cost you, blue man.
Well, we'll count the money when we're out of here.
Okay. So
I guess I'll head outside.
Okay, so you make your way away, and Teddy's like, "Hey, we're not done here," and he's walking like, kind of, trying to catch your attention, and you can, with a flick of your finger, knock him out if you want.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He just like turns around and like just flicks him away.
So he flies back, and would he land in a chair, or would you land him on the floor?
Yeah, he throws him into like the sort of the like pit boss chair or whatever.
So he slumps down, and the chair is like spinning around it with his momentum. You step outside, and sure enough, it's exactly as he described. There's this giant, like kind of like a muddy, greenish colored metallic sphere. If you think of like the size of like the Independence Day kind of ships, the first one, I haven't seen the second one, so I don't know how big those are, but the big one where it fills up like, blocks worth of space above, that's hovering over. And you think you can see, you sort of squint, you think you can see something swarming around it as well. What is that? And then you can see that it looks like what's flying through the air is kind of like they looked like to the naked eye. They look like flying manta rays almost. The same sort of greenish color as it's sort of, as it's making its way down. And where is it here? Yes. This thing, one of these flying things, it's got that sort of alien, technology hum to it that like as it's flying through the air. You are standing in like maybe just I'm picturing sort of like the entrance to the hotel or the casino here has like a U-shaped kind of driveway, and then it leads onto the strip, and then so you're sort of like standing maybe partway down the driveway looking up at this thing. And
it's not over our casino in particular. It's just over the strip.
It's just sort of over the strip. It looks like it passed over your casino, and that's where the glowing and or the flickering of lights came from. Because as it passes over the other ones, what do you call it? It seems to flicker in there as well. And this thing then sort of arcs down, and it begins opening fire. In 1 second here. There we go. There's this sort of like sort of like a flash of energy where the sort of the bottom part of the ventral, I guess, the ventral part of the ship sort of opens up, and there's this glow, and then this blast of white light goes out, and part of the ground explodes out in the concrete explodes in fire, and you can see that there are tons of these things that are dropping out and flying down towards the various areas of the strip, opening fire at random on people. That one hit a little close to you, so you think that you may have drawn its attention. So let's draw some initiative here, and then we will go through what you guys are going to do. So Jeffrey, you're up first again. You get Jack of Spades or Diamonds. Steve-O, you get Ace of Spades. So Steve, you're up first.
Ace
and
of
then
Spades.
the aliens are on Ace of Diamonds. So it goes in reverse alphabetical order. So spades are better than diamonds. Steve, you are up first. So you're inside, and you can maybe see through the because I'm assuming you stayed hacked in, so you can see some of this shit happening, and there's things attacking the street right now. So what would you like to do?
Got to get the money.
Okay. You've got the money. Yeah.
Oh, we've got the money. Okay. Well, then I head outside and say, well, I've got the money. You want to get out of here?
Okay. So I think what happens is you fly out, and you're about to say, "I got the money," and you see one of those blasts go down, and it vaporizes your getaway van.
Oh. The van.
Anything else you want to do?
Let's see.
One of those big, and now you're seeing them up closer. One of those Stingray ships is it's about maybe close to. It's about the size of like a U-Haul truck.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
Slightly different shape, but I mean it's a pretty big thing. Flies by.
Okay. I commandeer one of the passenger buses from the hotel. I'm trying to grab a car that's running so I can shove my minions in it along with the money, and then we can get out of here.
Okay. So you fly down, and so that's what you're doing this round. Next up is the aliens. So they two the things fly towards you. Let's see here. They will be. So one of them's going to open up on you. They're Steve-O. Ooh, explodes an 11. So I do connect with you. That is not good. So the cannon opens up. Let's see here. Actually, I'll do it as written. I was about to fudge the damage dice, but fuck it, it's a one shot. Let's see how much damage this does. So it's 10, 19, 21. Okay, so I beat your toughness. It is a heavy weapon, and I beat your toughness by 6, which means you're shaken and 1 wound. Do you want to spend another Benny to try and soak that?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and give me a vigor roll.
That's a D12, right?
D12, that's right, yeah.
All right. Plus anything? Okay, so I roll 5.
5, I think you've got...
plus 2, right?
Yes.
So 7.
So close. So you get 1, you don't take any wounds, but you are shaken. So
Okay.
You're hit by this thing, and you are driven down into it. Like you're flying over to land next to this bus, and this thing hits you. Oh shit, you know what? It did more than 20, which means I do knockback again. 8. So that is 16 yards, which is 48 feet. So you're like driven through this bus, out the other side, and you smash down into the fountain of like the neighboring casino.
Nice.
Or not, I wouldn't go that far. You go to like into the bushes separating the two. So you're sort of like,
I like that.
yeah. Okay, so and then the other one opens fire on you, Jeff. Let's see here. 5, I think is actually good enough. You don't have any thing to make you more harder to hit. So they do connect, and it is a heavy weapon. Let's see if it actually penetrates your massive hide here. 18, 26.
26 does.
26 does. Okay, so by 6 again. So that's 1 wound. You're shaken and 1 wound, but you can choose to soak that as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, so spend a Benny. You got 3 Bennies left.
It's D12 plus 2. I have the same as Steve.
Yep.
Whoa. 6. They're both a 9, so it's an 11.
Shit. So this thing hits you. There is knockback, but I don't think you're taking any damage. Okay, so you're driven 10 yards back, but it's I'm going to steal the scene that we've been using a lot in this thing. So you're hit by this cannon directly, and it's sort of, you can picture you lean into sort of the hit, and it drives you back along the pavement, and you leave these two really thick furrows in the ground or in the asphalt from behind you, but then you look up and there's steam rising in front of you, and you have taken out. You're not even shaken. You've taken no damage whatsoever.
And my suit is all shredded.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Right.
I'm pissed.
And there are a couple of your business cards that fall to the ground. So now it's your turn. What are you doing?
I'm going to use my powerful legs and try and leap onto this thing.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to get you to make a fighting check, please. Now, because of the size of this thing, I'm going to give you a plus. Oh man, it's pretty big. I'm going to give you a plus 2 to hit it.
Okay. And I'm basically trying to land on it and tear a hole and get inside.
Sure.
So that's a 7.
7, okay. 7 is, that's with the plus 2?
Yeah.
That is not great. I think it's enough to get just a grip on the side. So you don't get like a full hit on it, but you sort of like, whoa, and grab the side, and you're now being dragged along through the air by this thing. The remnants of your suit have like gone off, so you're just like you're wearing your suit pants still and your fancy shoes, but you're sort of like being dragged along on the side of this thing. Okay. Next round initiative, Jeffrey. Ooh,
whoa!
3 of hearts is not great. Steve-O, 2 of hearts is even worse.
Nice.
See what the aliens get. Boom. 9 of clubs. All right, so the we sort of picture this thing flying along with you on the side there, Jeff. What they're going to do is I'm going to make a contested check between your pilot and your strength as they're sort of like trying to spin around and send you flying off.
Okay.
So let's see here. I only got a 9. So.
Oh, and I'm plus 9.
All right, so as long as you don't roll a 1, you are on both dice. You're fine.
Yeah, I got a 4, so that's 13.
13, okay, yeah. So you're holding on, and it's just making you angrier as you are tightening your grip on the side of this thing. Then the other one, it starts flying back towards you, Steve. I am going to give you a cover bonus right now because you are in a bunch of trees.
Good.
And it misses. It fires again and explodes next to you. Since chunks of sod and twig and whatnot, and leaves a burning sort of hole through the foliage. Okay, next up is I believe Jeff, because I think Steve, you got the 2.
Yeah, I got a 3 and Steve got a 2.
Okay, Jeff, what are you doing?
Like he's got his hand sort of sunk in the metal. He's just gonna reach up and put another one in and sort of like pull himself up a little ways and then try and rip open the hole. Nice.
Okay, so I think what I'll just get you to do is make a check with your strength, and that'll tell us how successful you were in pulling this thing apart.
19.
19. So you've grabbed into it and you're sort of and pulling, and it's creaking, but whatever the hell this thing's made out of, it is incredibly tough. I will point out that you could spend
a penny to add a d6.
Definitely, yeah.
He's very pissed off.
Yeah.
The fact that he starts to pull and the hole is not going his way, he throws some extra anger into it.
Love it.
Oh, 6. Does this explode?
It does, yeah.
Holy shit. 12? 14 more.
Holy shit. What did you roll before? 21, I think?
19.
19 plus 14.
So that's a 33, actually, in the end.
Okay, so you grab, let me see here, 33 is...
Maybe he sees for the first time the reflection of his suit in the shiny hull.
Yeah.
And he sees what they've done to his favorite suit. and that's when he really tears it open.
Love it. Okay. And you wrench this thing open, and you basically rip off one of the wings, and you tear open the innards. So now, like, the weird alien innards in there, you can see, like, maybe there's like a glowing ball that's in the middle of some kind of apparatus, and as driving this thing. And I think you realize at that point too, you see that there is a cockpit near the head of this. So you beat it by you rolled 33 against his toughness. So that's 1, 2, 3. Oh man, this thing is very badly very, very badly damaged. And in fact, I need to make a piloting check for these guys to keep this thing airborne. They do succeed, but barely. So this thing's sort of like, you can see it sort of go down, and then it smashes through a billboard of Wayne Newton, right, and leaves this smoldering hole behind it as you're trailing along.
A headless Wayne Newton.
Last but not least, Steve-O, what are you doing?
All right, let me see. So I can see how far away is Fixer?
At this point, Fixer is about 160 yards away.
Not too far.
No, and I mean what your pace is on there, that will double that to get how many yards you can go.
How many yards I can go? Double.
So you can go 96 yards per round as your normal movement.
Okay, so I can't quite make it. Okay, in that case, let's concussive blast this guy who's attacking me. It's about time to deal out some damage here.
Nice. Okay, so your tracking system sort of picks it up. You switch your. I don't know which mode it was in anyway. I'm guessing strength at one point, but you so you switch to the concussive blast. Go ahead and make your attack roll. So it'll be you're shooting plus a wild die. So plus the D6.
Shooting plus a wild die. There we go. So shooting is D8 plus a D6. Okay, here we go. All right, baby. Come on. Help a brother out. So I got 7. Nice. Plus my D6. Come on, baby. D6 is a 1. So that's 8 altogether.
8 altogether is with his speed actually is good enough to hit.
Yay!
Yeah, so
all right.
You hit this thing. Go ahead and roll damage. Your damage will be 6d6, and it's
Nice.
AP4, so you're ignoring 4 points of its armor. So the way that works, guys, is that if you've got armor piercing on your ability, and the target has armor, like you can see on your toughness, Jeff, for you've got that 8 in brackets next to your toughness.
Yep.
That means 8 points of your toughness is from armor. Similarly for you, Steve. Yeah, like you got a bracket there. So that's where like armor piercing stuff can be really effective against some things. There are some characters that are just super tough. And, like yours, I think, Jeff, yours is a combination of toughness and armor.
Right.
But anyway, so Steve, go ahead and make your roll and tell me how you did.
Are the dice exploding?
They are, yeah.
Nice. Okay, come on, baby. Rock and roll. 30.
Holy shit. All right, so with the AP4, that drives it down to so you damaged this one almost as badly as what Jeff did.
Noise.
So you actually 30
Rip
is let me think here. 18 is 12. Okay, so it's as badly damaged as what Jeff's one was. You fire out this. What does your blast look like?
It's sort of a balled up charge. It takes a second to charge, and then it's sort of this sort of crested like Yugen. It's like Ken's sort of like a sort of
pulse. Okay,
crescent of energy.
Love it. So you blast out, you hit this thing, it pinwheels to the side and kind of, it needs to make a piloting check. Yeah. Slams into the side of the casino.
Nice.
One of the rooms explodes out. Okay, so that's it for you. All right. Next up is initiative. Jeffrey, you're getting 3 of clubs. Steve-O. Jack of clubs.
Yay, Jack.
And the alien gets a 6 of hearts. So I've been waiting for this fucking jokers to come up so I can tell you what happens when the jokers come up. But it's not coming up. Okay, so then first up is you, Steve. What would you like to do?
Alright. So how's this plane doing? Where is it at here? Or my enemy.
Wounds. You know what, Steve? You actually would have missed that thing. I'm not going to change the what's happened, but just to let you know, because of your wounds, you would have had -2 to hit.
Right.
That's fine. Okay, so there are more of these like manta ray or stingray ships that are coming down, flying around. But
I'm gonna fly out of here as fast as I can and go try to find Fixer.
Okay, so you give me a notice check, please. But you, because of your heightened senses, you get +2 to that.
Nice. Okay, it's a D6 plus whatever, Trevor. All right. Boom. Yeah. So that's a 5.
And remember, you're rolling 2d6 because you always roll a wild dice with it. You always roll a d6 with whatever your check is.
Alrighty. And I rolled my wild dice is a 2, so I add that.
No, that is just whichever one is highest.
Okay. So I got a 5.
5. Okay. They call in Savage Worlds, a character who's like a main character, a PC, is a wild card character, and wild card characters get to roll the wild dice with their other stats. So it gives you a little, even if you're shitty at something, like you're rolling a D4, you still are always rolling a D6 as well.
Okay.
Okay. So what was your highest result?
Altogether, plus the 2 is 5.
Well, remember, you're not at plus the 2 bonus. Yeah, I see. Okay, so 5 in total. No, it's a good enough. 4 is the normal number. So yeah, you can see this smoldering sort of stingray, flying through the air with this giant silver figure on its back. So you have spotted him. You could still use some of your move. What do you want to do?
I will go and help him because I need his help. So okay. I'll go and
Awesome. Okay, so you go flying over, and it'll take you another round or so to get caught up with him, just from the direction they're going. Then it is the alien's turn. He's going to try and shake you off again, Jeff. So let's roll. What do you call it? And actually, I've got bennies I could spend too. I forgot. I'm going to spend a benny on this one to make it a little more of a challenge for you. 8, 12. Okay, so minus. Because the wounds. All right. Give me your strength check. I got a 14 in total.
And I got a 5. Oh, wait. Plus 9. 14 as well.
Ooh. Okay, so I think that he has to beat you in order to do this. So you're sort of like gripping down, and the G-forces of this maneuver are just crazy. So you can see maybe like there are tear holes that are appearing, or like furrows in the armor as you're being sort of pulled back, but you're managing to hold on. And then it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I'm going to use the 2 openings of the hole that he's ripped and fling himself like a cannonball into the cockpit area.
Nice. Okay. Are you trying, like, the cockpit is like it's like a fighter jet pilot where it's a little bigger just because of the size of the thing, but it's only really going to fit one person in there?
Oh, so I'm going to knock the pilot right out, basically.
So let me understand the direction you're trying to come in here. You're trying to go through the craft and into the cockpit?
Okay, I was picturing that there was like an open area inside the craft, but if there's not, then no, not really.
No, it's not. It's actually like it's mostly whatever the alien.
Like a fighter jet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to get my hands on the pilot, but
you could easily, I think, like with your strength, like your passive strength, you could just like throw the cockpit off if you want and see who's inside.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll rip the cockpit open.
Okay, so you toss it open, and then you see inside. You're kind of like, taken back because this creature turns and looks at you, and for the love of you, it looks like, imagine if you had a humanoid shark, but with like crocodile skin. This thing looks at you, and the inside of this thing is very crude and very brutal looking. But that's what's in the cockpit. And this thing's about your size, or maybe even a little bit bigger than you. And it snarls at you with its giant savage teeth. Okay, so that is the end of that round. Next round. Jeffrey, boom. Oh, good lord. Steve-O.
Are we out of 2s and 3s yet? All right, Nate.
Honestly, like we're so far down on the deck, and Alien Shark Man. Ooh, Queen. Okay, so he looks up at you, Jeff. Looks back, grabs something from his from inside the cockpit, spins around, and he's going to try and shoot at you. Let's see here. Where is he? Where is he?
He's not carrying a heavy weapon inside the cockpit.
Yeah. There he is. So his shooting is a 10. So he does hit. Even with, so there, unless you have a specific edge to offset it, when you are on a vehicle trying to shoot a weapon, you take a -2 for unsteady platform.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and he doesn't have that. So he does hit. The damage is. Ooh. So he rolls a whopping 21, but it's not a heavy weapon. So this beam hits you, and you're kind of like, and you're stop for a second, and you realize like it's stung a bit, but there's no appreciable damage here.
Right.
Okay, that was the alien. Next up is Steve. What are you doing? So you're about. If you spent your move this round trying to catch up, you could probably catch up to the to where the ship is with the fixer on it.
Let's do that.
So you catch up. I'm gonna say you make a double move to get there, and you see what he's seeing. There's some weird shark crocodile man who's in the cockpit who just shot at Jeff's character.
Okay.
And Jeff, it is your turn now. You can see Cobalt is right next to you.
Okay, I'm going to. I guess I'm just going to rip this pilot right out of his seat and chuck him off this vehicle.
Nice. Okay, so give me a fighting check to hit him. You got +2 to hit him because he's locked in his seat as well.
18. +2 is 20.
20. Wow. Okay, so yeah, that you get that with a raise. So what I'll let you do is with the raise, I'm going to give you +2 on this check as well. We're going to make contested strength check. You versus the shark croc guy. So go ahead and make your strength roll. I got a 10 in total.
I got a 11 roll +9 +2 is 22.
Phew, this guy goes flying out of the ship through the air. You realize when you see him fly up, there's a fin on his like the back of his head as well. But then he very quickly sort of fades from view. Okay, so the vehicle is now uncontrolled. So let me make a crash check here and see what's happening. Because I imagine that's going to be amusing. Where's that chart? I should have taken out one of my DM screens for this before we started. Where is that?
Now my plan was to jump off the plane before it crashed, but you can decide that in whatever way you want to see which happens first.
Sure. Jeff, give me roll 2d6 for me, please.
Okay.
So it's an out of control check, maybe not a crash check.
Holy shit! 2 snake eyes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, that is actually not bad. So I'm not going to make you a check because your strength is just so high. But basically, as soon as he goes flying out, this thing's going and spinning around.
Barrel roll.
Like, whoa, yeah. So it's not crashing necessarily; it's just spinning like crazy.
Ripping the pilot up might not have been my best idea.
All right, next round. Let's see what happens. Jeffrey. 4 of hearts, Steve-O. Queen of clubs.
Right.
And
That guy's Joker.
no Joker either. Good Lord, this is all I got left. Like,
Yeah.
we're way down to the deck. Okay, so that means Steve, you are up first.
All right. Do I still have any money?
No, I think you let your minions get it. If you want to check or see where they are, they've made their way outside the casino and they're making their way to a what do you call it? They've like taken over a limo that had a bunch of well, I guess there's no one in it at this point. They're all fleeing, but they've just piled into a big pink limo, and they've started up and they're like, "We're ready, boss. Let's go."
Perfect. All right. We got us a Mary Kay limo. All right. Okay, so I say to Fixer, I say, man, it's time to put the pedal to the metal and get the heck out of here. Let's grab the cash and run.
Okay.
And then I head back to where the limo is.
If you wanted to try and transport him faster, just like your strength is D12 plus 3, which means that you can lift up to a ton.
Sure. Yeah, I'll pick him up and then fly him back.
So if you want to try and I think what I'm going to require is a fighting check from both of you guys at a D4. So like no matter not a D4 against a target number of 4. So there's no modifiers. Just that's to like jump through the air and grab hands.
Alrighty.
So go ahead and each of you make a fighting check. Steve, Jeff, are you on board with that plan?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, well, I rolled a 6 on my wild die.
Okay, then you roll the 6 again, and because it explodes.
Oh, right. And that makes it a 7. All right.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, easily, and then Steve, I heard a couple of rolls there. Jeff, ticket that you.
I got 13.
Awesome. So yeah, like you guys have been doing this forever. You time it perfectly to be like follow the momentum of the spinning, crashing alien ship, and you are propelled through the air where he catches you, spins around to sort of slow your momentum, and then uses that momentum to start heading back towards the, it's that classic Iron Man move where he sort of stops and then hits his boosters into full, and you go flying back towards where the pink limo is trying to make its way through the ruined streets. So we're about 5 minutes off from our normal quit time, guys. What we could do is we could call her here, or we can go through a chase to wrap up this scene. I'm at your disposal.
Doesn't matter to me. What do you think, Steve?
Go through a chase?
Yeah.
What the heck? Let's wrap it up. Let's go through a chase. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
So the way that chases work in this is actually really, really fun. We've done this before. Well, Jeff and I have done this a couple times in Savage Rifts. And Steve, you may remember this this is the process we used when we were playing that Hell on Earth campaign where you're playing that Mad Max type character.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right.
Okay. So the way this works is each of you guys, actually, I need to run very, very quickly to go to the washroom because I've had too much tea. What you're going to be doing, though, is we'll make it only 5 rounds. And what you're going to pick is an ability that you're using to try and get away. So Steve, you're going to make a roll for your minions. They have a drive of D6. They don't get a wild die, unfortunately, because they're minions. And then what you two can do is either, Steve, you can try and like assist them with your superpowers in some way, or try and keep the enemies off, or what. And Jeff, I don't know, like I'll let you maybe while I'm in the washroom, think about if there's a way that you could use your powers, your abilities to try and help with this chase, and we'll figure out what that is, make the rolls, and get the chase going when I get back.
Like Fred Flintstone, you just pick it up and run with it.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, I guess I can run cover. And
I'm thinking that maybe the Fixer is just grabbing things off the side of the road, like light posts or other vehicles or whatever, and just chucking them at the at the saucer chasing us.
Mm-hmm. I could also fly you up and drop you on it.
Yeah. Well, we're just trying to get away at this point, right? So.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's true. Yes.
All right. So have you guys had a chance to think about how you're going to use your powers to help?
Yeah, I think that the fixer's just like grabbing things as like we're driving away on the limo, right?
Yep. Yep.
So he's just like grabbing like light posts or ripping pieces off cars or whatever he can get his hands on and then throwing it at the saucer that's chasing them.
Okay. So what let's see here. Okay, so in order to attack, you need to have advantage on these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a piloting check for the ships, and then Steve, you make a D6 roll for your the guy who's driving it.
Okay.
For your minion. Okay, so I got a total of 10. And then the way it works is we use another deck of cards. And we draw cards, and depending on how many successes, if you get one success, so you roll 4, you get one card. Every 4 points over, you get another card. I got 2, which means I've got a 10 of spades or a 3 of clubs. The higher the number, the closer you are. So a 10 would put me at long range, and they're going to have a major obstacle to overcome. Steve, what'd you roll?
I roll my D6 right now.
Yes, please.
And I am rolling, and I get a 2.
2, which means you got no cards. You do not get to take actions this round.
No.
Yeah.
D6 roll have been shite.
You do have a Benny if you want to spend that. So you can spend that to re-roll, or you could spend it to roll a D6 and add it to your result.
Let's spend it. Okay, let's spend it and roll a d6 and add it to my result.
Okay.
Let's see. Come on, give me a good one here. 6. Yay!
Nice. Okay, so it's 8 in total, which means you get 2 cards.
All right.
So you guys get an ace.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what that means is you guys would win, and you guys would have the advantage, which means you guys actually get to act, whereas they do not. So their complication, 1 second here. Oh, it's only on a club that they suffer complications. Forgive me. But you did get an ace of clubs, which means, there's a distraction. Okay. So clubs, I forgot about this. Clubs are the bad thing in this.
Ow.
So what happens is you guys start pulling off, and the two of you, where do you drop Mr. Fix-It or the Fixer off? Like, Jeff, do you see yourself at the back of the limo, or are you in the front, or are you through the sunroof?
Yeah, it's probably like hanging out through the sunroof.
Okay, so you're hanging out
Teenagers.
so you're hanging through the sunroof. Where are you, Cobalt?
I'm in the air running interference.
Okay.
Sort of, behind between the car and the craft.
So I think what happens is, as you guys are pulling off, and the limo is weaving back and forth, they don't get to attack you, so they're firing at you, but it's not hitting. But you rolled, the card you drew was a club, which means there's a complication. So there's a distraction. It's that something obscures the character's vision or path, and you can't attack this round. So I think what happens is you sort of position yourself ready to go, and then you hear this, and you look over and you see that there's a giant, that like cowboy sign that we've seen in so many films. That thing kind of crashes down and then like blocks off a good chunk of the street, so you're not able to get a clear shot. You're not affected by it, but you just can't get a shot off on these Stingray ships. So that's 1 round down, 4 more to go, guys. You're almost getting away. Okay, go ahead and make your check for me again.
Roll my d6 again?
Yep. So I only rolled
Right.
4, which means I get 1 card.
All right. Come on, baby. I rolled a 3.
3. So you will be getting 0 cards right now,
Dang
unless you you got 1 Benny left. Now here's something you can do. Let's see here. You can make a cooperative roll, which is
That's what we used to do.
rolls. It means that so what you guys can do is you guys can make like you can tell me something neat you're going to do to try and help out with them, and then you make a roll, and for each success and raise, the driving roll gets a +1 to the result. So is there something that Cobalt and Mr. Like for an example, like Cobalt could, be using his pulse cannons to try and like do suppressive fire to stop these things from falling.
What's that?
You can use your rockets to push the limo.
Could do like I could stunt my
Speed.
could stunt a concussive blast or my other sort of blasty force to push the car forward.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about you? So what I'll get you to do then, Steve, is make a repair check for me.
Repair. All right.
So I'm thinking you're like on the fly. You're telling your armor where to recalculate to like redirect certain energy flows.
Nice. Yes, exactly.
Get yourself against the bumper and your boot jets. That was a hard fucking word to say. I was going to keep wanting to say jute bets.
Why not?
Your boot jets fly out and begin boosting. How about you, Jeff? Can you think of anything? Anything you could do to help?
I don't know. A big tank on the back of your limo isn't really much help to get away from a spaceship.
Using a lamppost.
I'm trying to like grab things to throw at them to try and like.
Here's what I'm thinking: is maybe if you're picturing what you're driving through, that maybe like because your leaping is still pretty quick. You could be like leaping forward and throwing shit out of the way of the road.
Right, like maybe I could clear a path.
Sure. So why don't you just give me a fighting check for that? Not just your strength is obviously big enough or strong enough to be able to toss shit out of the way, but let's just see how many raises you get. So Steve, how did you do with your repair check?
Now, do I get to roll one of the wild dice with this check?
Always, yeah, you always do.
Yay! In that case, I got a 6. Now, does that explode?
It does, yeah. Wild dice always any dice you roll explodes, except for like range, like the knockback.
Nice.
So I got a 4, so that's just a success, right?
Okay, so it's +1, which means at least you've got one card now from the driving.
Cool. And I got a 10 on my repair roll then.
Woo! So that is 2 more cards. So you guys got 3 cards to choose from.
What's up?
No, hold on, no. That's 1, 2, 3. Oh, not quite. You get 2 cards because you get 1 day success and then 1 more.
Nice.
So you're boosting the speed of this pink limo, which is like and squealing around these corners. In the front, there's the giant silver-skinned guy bashing shit to the side and knocking things out of the way. So you guys have, boom, nice. Ace of diamonds to choose from. I'm gonna guess this is what you want.
I think that's probably the card. Yeah.
Okay, let's see how. They only got 1 card, so the stingrays are. 4 of diamonds, not good. So you guys get a chance to attack this round if you want to.
Well,
these things are speeding to try and keep up with you, winding their way through the what do you call it?
The smutty hotels of downtown Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so like the debris that I was knocking out of the way of the limo, he's just like throwing it up, trying to like make them fly or make them maneuver around it.
Okay, so just to give it an example of how much, like, just how your damage shit works, you leap down and there is an abandoned bus in front of you, and you easily pick this thing up. Because of how fucking strong you are, you can toss this thing to a max of like 48 yards, which is about 150 feet.
Wow.
And if you hit with it, you will do your strength plus a d12 plus 7.
Strength plus D. Well, okay.
So basically, it'll be
So my rolling roll.
Yeah, it'll be 2d12 plus 16.
Wow.
Yeah, and because of the weight of it, it'll be a heavy weapon as well, too. So you grab this thing, and you look up towards one of those things flying down. Go ahead and make a throwing check for me, please.
Oh, damn. Pretty sure a 3 won't do much.
No, okay, so it goes flying up, and you see the what do you call it? The sign on top, the like what do you call it? Like the thing that tells you what line it's on. It says out of service on it. Bam! It smashes down. Okay, and Steve, do you want to make an attack?
Yeah.
What do you want
Let's
to do?
concussive blast these guys here. All right.
Okay, go ahead and make your shooting check.
And shooting is a D8 plus a D6.
So you're rolling a D8 and a D6, and take whichever's highest.
All righty. 1D8 exploding. Hit me, baby. That's a D5. And then 1D6. Pow. Okay, so I guess my roll is a 5.
Rolls a 5. 5 is not because of the speed of these things, not quite good enough. So you fire at these, and they're spinning around in a spiraling motion. I will point out,
I don't add the wild. I take the biggest one, right? Yeah. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. And one thing I'll mention too, Steve, is that if you're using auto fire stuff, remember that you've got what you do for auto fire. If you've got a rate of fire of 4, like your pulse cannons do, that means you roll 4 dice equal to your shooting plus the wild die, and you take the 4 highest results. And as long as you don't move, your rock and roll means that you don't take that -2 penalty that you would normally take with auto fire.
Well, we're gonna have to try that, aren't we? Okay.
I think that's definitely okay. So, so those are the attacks. You guys are firing at these things, and unfortunately, because they're weaving around so quickly, you just can't quite get a beat on them. But you guys aren't able to get a shot on you. Okay, next round. How would you like to assist this round? I don't want to cooperate. I'll make a check for you guys pursuing you.
Let's see here.
They're getting 2 cards this turn.
I'm going to use my scanning ability to see a path out in front of the car to help plan out a route around obstacles and stuff like that.
So I love that. Yeah. So you're tapping into like security cams. Okay, cool. That's fucking awesome. Jeff, what about you? So actually, Steve, what I'll get you to do is make a investigation roll, and remember that because of your, actually, I'll give you the better of the 2 bonuses. I'll give you +4 from wireless connectivity.
Nice.
Okay, so good. Make your roll, and then Jeff, what do you think you're going to do?
D6 +4.
Figuring that I can use stealth or any knowledge of Vegas that my character has to try and lose them, like to try and take a tunnel, like suggest a path to the driver that I would know about that obviously alien invaders have no idea exists.
Okay, there's an ability that I couldn't fit it in your character's budget, but it's such a cool ability, and I'd like to see it in play. So there is a. You'll see that one of your or a couple of your abilities are super attributes, right?
Yeah.
One of the things you can get with the super attributes, an add-on you can get, is a modifier called "Not Today." And what this is that once per session, you can substitute the super attribute for any other attribute roll.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I can spend a penny
and
use it not today.
You don't even have to spend. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I'll say, yeah, you'll spend a penny and you can use not today. That sounds fucking perfect. And that is a perfect use of the power stunt. That's exactly what
that's what I figured. I'm like, yeah.
That's awesome. So you found a way. I was wanting to break the rules to do it, and you found a way in rules to still make it work. So that's fucking amazing. Awesome. So yeah, you go ahead and make a strength check, and let's see how you doing that. Steve, how did yours go?
I rolled a 13.
13 means 1 plus 1, 2 raises. So you got +3 to the roll.
Nice.
And then...
Hey, look, I'm not touching my dice. I just want to show you how...
Oop. We just lost your camera there. Jeff, we lost your camera and your sound.
Jeff.
While we're waiting for Jeff to get back on, Steve, go ahead and make your D6 roll for your minion.
For the minion, and they don't get a wild.
They do not, no.
Okay, come on, baby, come on. So 3 plus 3 is a 6?
3 plus 3 is a 6. You got 6 so far, plus whatever Jeff rolled. We'll find out what he rolled in a second here.
Alrighty.
I think he may have pulled his camera out altogether.
Whoops.
Poor guy.
Yoink. So you saw Justice League, obviously.
Yeah, I saw Justice League on Saturday. We had a client event. So, and it was, like it's not unwatchable by any means. It's just not a good film, right? Oh, here we go. Okay, Jeff, you're back?
Hello?
Oh, I see me. Yep. Hello.
You hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Why is my audio gone?
I don't know. Let's see. I'll keep talking so that Jeff will hopefully pick us up. Here we are, talking. But anyway, yeah, Justice League. There's a couple scenes in it that are really, really fucking cool and totally worth seeing the film in a theater for.
Right.
You need to be going in with like extremely lowered expectations in terms of plot and villain and effects and dialogue and everything.
I am. Don't worry. Yeah. It's just too bad that they're just rolling those movies out without having much of a reason for it. You know what I mean? Apart from the fact that it's time for the extended universe.
Yeah, this one I think everything broke. Let me get to where's it here? Let's roll a. Where's my dial? There we go. Can you hear us now, Jeff? Yeah, the what do you call it? There's a couple it's a mess in a lot of ways because there were so many hands in the pot when they were making it, and then the change directors. So.
Oh, they did, yeah, right.
Well, and they made a film that was supposed to be 2 parts into one, and then they cut the runtime down. So, this film had everything going against it that it possibly could.
Yeah.
But in spite of that, there are like I said, there's about 2 or 3 scenes where you're just like, Jesus Christ, that's amazing. Interspersed with a bunch of not great stuff, and again, not like. It's almost laughably bad, to be honest.
Right.
For there we go.
Fixing it. There we go.
Nice.
Crap.
When in doubt, reboot.
That was ridiculous.
So what did you roll?
Got unplugged. Well, I rolled a 6 and a 12, so I was just going to re-roll them both. But
fuck yes, nice.
And now I got a 5 on the D12, so it's a 17.
Holy shit! So
plus 9 is 26.
Holy God, 26.
I shouldn't play with this camera, I guess.
26 minus 4 is a 22, which means you got 5 successes and raises. So plus, Steve, you rolled a 6 in total, so it's an 11, which means you get to draw 2 cards.
Yay.
Okay. Do you guys get 1, which is I'll just draw both of them. There we go. Ooh, Jack of Spades. Nice. And we got 2. So let's see what the aliens got. Oh, Queen of Hearts.
Ooh.
The aliens get to attack. So let's see here. I'm going to roll 3 against your limo.
No, another limo.
Only 1 hit. But shit. So rules as written. This is going to do a lot of fucking damage to your limo.
Limo.
Yeah. So let's see. I need 1 more. There it is. Let's see how. That's because the old limo, I think, has a let's see here. The toughness for the limo is a
Zilch.
sports car's got a 10, a semi's got a 16, SUV's got a 14. So I think it's closer to a semi. I'll say 15. Toughness is a 15. How do I do here? That's 14, 16, 10. Oof. Okay, so I get Steve, I need you to make a piloting check for me.
Mm-hmm.
So just roll a d6. You want to roll a 4 or higher.
And I rolled a 1.
Whoa! Yeah, that's really not good. A 1 is you have a Benny if you want to re-roll that.
I guess I'd better, and then add a d6, right?
No. A 1 is an auto failure, so you need to re-roll that.
Oh, come on, baby, come on, honey, come on. 7. There you go.
Nice. Oh yeah, because you crit. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So that means you're able to lose control or maintain control over it. So there's at least that your driver's like, oh, whoa! But like the whole back end of the limo has been opened up by this blast. I'm going to say 2 of your guys are dead, but the money isn't anywhere. But yeah, like the whole back end of the limo has been blown open. You can see there's still like, a couple carafes with champagne half drunk in them.
Nice.
Okay. So that was their round. Next round, we got 2 more. We'll do one more. We'll do one more round. So this will be the final round because otherwise, if they're either going to get initiative and blow up your limo or not. So you guys, how are you helping this turn?
Okay. Well, I will maybe do some repairs. Try to hold the car together.
Sorry, I forgot to give narrative for the last one. So here's what I think I see happening last time, because Jeff was using his knowledge of Vegas. You're sort of, you've been jumping along and knocking this shit aside, and then you sort of stop and think, and you look up at Cobalt and you say, "Hey, you can get into the find out if the way to Crestmont is open." And you stop for a second, Cobalt, and you sort of hack into the cameras, and we see this, CSI kind of like cameras zooming back and forth. It turns out like that's actually fairly open.
Okay.
You're like, yeah. So then the thing turns and turns its way down towards this. Look, it's off the strip. It looks like it's actually going to be making a pretty good, pretty clear way to get towards like the freeway and get out of the, to the highway, get out of the city. But then you see around the corner, these 3 stingrays which fire down on the limo, which blows open the back, and we bring ourselves to the start of the next round. So the last round. So last round of this chase, what are you guys going to do?
All right. Any ideas there, Mr. Fixer?
Well, I'm thinking I'd like to try and throw something at them again.
Just distract them?
Yeah, just to create a distraction.
Sure.
Stop them from blowing up our money.
Right.
I think that I think that you're probably driving past a couple like big parking lots. There's probably a ton of small vehicles you can toss in the air to keep them occupied.
Right. Yeah, I'll try and exactly that. Just find some smaller cars and chuck them in the way.
Okay. So you go ahead and make a throwing check. So for yours, and Steve, how are you going to help?
I guess he doesn't need my help for that.
So how you can help the driver? What do you think you might want to do?
Help the driver. Well, I mean, the car is in pretty rough shape. Maybe I could. Well, I don't know. What if I hack the car's AI in order to try to give it some extra horsepower?
Okay.
By affecting the timing of the pistons and so on.
Yeah, I think it's probably a new enough vehicle that you could, like shut down all safety kind of whatever procedures and like overclock the engine.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, that sounds awesome. So you use repair.
All right.
And you'll get it's a -2 when you're trying to hack a secure thing, and I think that like the whatever wireless connection there is on this, it would be designed to not do that, but you will get the +4, which nets you a +2 to your roll.
That's 2. Alrighty, here we go.
Yeah,
And I got a 4 on my roll, my throw.
4 in your throw. Awesome. Okay, so 4 is actually no, because their speed is not quite good enough. But no, hold on, I'm doing that wrong. 4 means you add +1 to the driver's roll.
Right, I'm not trying to hit them. I'm just trying to make a distraction.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's succeeding. These things are kind of, or they're blasting the cars out of the air too.
Right, they're just shooting them down.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
And Steve, what'd you get?
I got a 4.
Okay, well that's something. You got a little bit of extra juice out of it. That's another. So now you roll the d6 for your minion, and you're adding +2 to the result.
All right, baby. Come on. Help us out here, boys and girls. 7.
7, nice.
All right.
So and that's including the +2.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Beautiful. So you're 1 shy of getting the extra card, but you do get 1 card. So you guys are getting. Oh God, it's a club too.
Hey, wait, but don't we get 1 more card if?
No, because you only rolled. You need an 8.
Get an extra card.
Okay.
Oh shit, that's so bad too. So just like the higher your card you draw is, the better the positioning. The lower the card is, the worse the club result is. They got an ace of hearts. So let's deal with your disaster first.
So they overshoot and we get away. There you go. Right.
Let's see here. So they're the only ones who are going to be able to attack this round, but let's deal with the disaster first. Whew. All right, so god damn. So your minion is driving along here, and you get to the point where you're about to turn onto the freeway, and then you turn, and for whatever reason, you have turned the wrong way onto this, and coming off on the off ramp that you're driving up, there are 2 semis coming directly towards you. So what I need your driver to do is make a driving check at the D6 with a -4.
Oh my God! All right.
So.
All right, and
Do you
then
have any chance to intervene on this?
If you guys can aid this roll the same way that you did the other one, I'll let you do that.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
So what are you gonna do? You sort of I guess both of you guys were distracted when he was doing this, and he didn't follow your directions and went the wrong way.
Well, as soon as Breck sees what's happening, he leaps and tries to land between the semis and get them to veer.
Sure. Okay.
Try and clear a spot for the limo.
Okay. So I think I'll let you. Let me see here.
I don't know what is jump. How you just roll a jump roll.
Yeah, like a jump. I don't think it's because you're not just going for distance. You're trying to position yourself.
Yeah, so maybe it's agility.
Yeah, I think it'll be agility. So give me an agility roll. Let's see how you do on that. And then Steve, what do you think you want to do?
Oh my gosh. Can I do at this point? I don't want to blast because then I'll blast Fixer.
Well, I got a 5, so I got +1 to the roll.
Okay, so +1 to the roll. So now it's only -3. Steve, what do you got?
What if I? Gosh, I mean, could I physically move my car to try and squeeze them through the middle?
Sure. If you like deactivated your weapon system and rejigged the power back into your strength, that you'd have enough strength to be able to try and push this car.
Sure. Yeah,
so
let's do it.
And I think that'll be a fighting check.
Okay, fighting check.
Well, the Fixer made the gap a little bit bigger between them, so
yeah.
And then I'll just try to squeeze our car through the gap.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see how'd you do, Steve.
All right, let's find out. All right, D8. Boom, that's a 6.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Plus, that was with no modifiers.
No modifiers. So 6 is only +1. So it's reduced the penalty to a -2, which effectively means you need to roll a 6 on a D6 to make this roll.
And that's with Mr. Fixer's business too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
with his ad too. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it was a -4, which was an impossible roll.
Okay.
Yeah, so they swerve to the side. You leapt and hit down and kind of, weave out, but then sort of weave back a little bit. And then you jump in and try and push the car to the side. How's it do? Steve, give us your roll.
Come on, D6. Come on, baby. Oh, he rolls a 5. Yeah.
Oh, you've got a Benny left, Steve. You can roll again.
Do I have a Benny?
You've got one Benny left still. Yeah, because you haven't spent
And
it.
I can't add to it, eh?
You can add to it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, let's add to it then.
Okay.
What do I add here? Okay, D6?
Yeah.
Yeah, D6.
And not exploding, right?
It is exploding. Yeah.
It is exploding. Okay, well, we're going to add 4 to that, which would make it a 9.
9. All right, so you go down and you hit this thing, and then the semi sort of zoom out, and then they're starting to swerve back in, and you push the limo over, and there's scrapes as your armor is clipped by the side of the semi's trailer, but it manages to pass through, and you guys are now making your way up the on ramp, and it's skittering to the side. There's still smoke coming out of the back of the ruined limo. Mr. Fix-It, Mr. Fixer, the Fixer, you leap and land in the back of this thing. It's pulling up and around. Now they did win, and they got an ace, which means they are at short range, and melee things are possible. So these fly down on you guys. The dorsal cannons glow with power, and they're about to fire. And we're at 9:30. So what happens to the Fixer and Cobalt? We'll never know.
Never.
So yeah, great. Okay, cool. So we'll wrap it there, guys. And we don't know whether our criminals got away with their money or whether they got blown up by the alien invaders.
As it should be.
So it's been Jeff. You've played Savage Worlds before, obviously, and Steve, you've played. It's been quite a while since you've played Savage Worlds. How do you think, guys? How do you think it handles superheroes?
I think it's pretty good. I had a lot of fun. The system is so like give and take. Like some rolls, your dice explode, and it's like crazy. And then also, it's punishing. You roll 2 dice, you get 2 2s, and you totally fail. So
yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah. Steve, what do you think?
It's funny. It's very similar in playing style to DC's Mastermind, Mutants and Masterminds, or whatever we were playing that game. I like the system seemed more natural with the Mad Max kind of environment. I sort of enjoyed that, but this is like adding cards to the DC universe, which is cool. Still, I enjoyed, but it is. I mean, it's back and forth.
Yeah, like the system is pretty swingy. Like that's the thing where that sort of, because of the exploding dice, it becomes a very swingy type game. Like it's the predictability of the dice results is sort of out the window. Yeah. And I mean that can be really good and really fun, or it can be, really fucking frustrating.
Right. At least as the DM, you have the ability to respond a little bit.
Yeah, like the things that I like as a DM with it is, I love that you guys are able to improv a bunch of uses of your powers, right? I love the chases. I think they're really a lot of fun, and it gives everyone a chance to do some storytelling with it.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, and then I was shocked how much damage you took with that first hit, too.
Right.
Like that first hit, but I am impressed that you were able to, respond pretty well to it.
There were ways to absorb it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, like it's incredibly fucking easy to run. Like I didn't prep anything tonight. This was all made up on the fly. I did use all the stats as written and the rules as written to make sure I'd see what it actually played like. But like I had everything I needed by quickly looking in a book or pulling up a PDF. So in terms of ease of play, it's super fucking easy. How does it compare to the other superhero games that we've played, guys? because we played DC Adventures, we played Champions, we played this, and I think that's the only superhero ones we played. Oh, we played Jeff. You've played Marvel Heroic with us as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we didn't go through character creation, so that part, is a little hard to tell. But I like the character. He seemed like he had quite a few things to do, even with basically just being a pretty straightforward character.
Yeah.
Power, stunts, and tricks is pretty cool. I didn't get to do any tricks, but it seems like a good system.
How does it compare to, I guess it's certainly faster than Champions, and it's probably about the same speed as what DC Adventures is.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. Steve, how do you think it compares to the other game systems we've played?
I'm still a fan of the DC system,
Yeah.
and I like my character natural disaster.
Funny you mentioned that. I didn't have them ready to go because I wanted you to try out some more generic heroes yet, but I do have natural disaster converted to the system.
Oh, cool. Well, I would try that.
Yeah. Well, that's neat.
Yeah, I like the D20s in the other DC system. I enjoy the sort of the rolling matrix in that one, but this game has the cards, and the cards are cool.
Yeah, the cards for initiative is really a fun twist because you can really shake up the order. Like, you're not just rolling initiative once and then going through. Right. We didn't see a Joker come up, but when a Joker comes up, what happens is you get everyone gets a Benny, and you get +2. Whoever drew the Joker gets a +2 to their skill rolls and their damage rolls for that turn.
Ah, funky.
There are a couple of rules on like combining powers too. So like, there's some neat ways of combining powers to like take down really big, tough bad guys, but like. One of the complaints I saw online about it was that, it's really difficult to build an effective brick in this. But like, Jeff, you were doing crazy damage.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty viable character.
Yeah, like
if I was going to continue to play a character like that, I might increase my throwing ability a little bit. But other than that, it's pretty fun.
It's funny if you take a look at the bottom of that. I've for each of the archetypes, I've also included, like, if you choose to start with an experienced character, one of the things I raised was just throwing to a D8.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Well, guys, I really appreciate you letting me. So, like I said, I mean, I didn't have anything. I didn't have time to finish writing the adventure for Shadow of the Demon Lord, and this was a lot of fun to try out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Okay, guys, have a great weekend. And then, Steve, I will talk to you. Actually, here, for those listening at home first, why don't we log off? For those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us for this test run for the Savage Worlds Superpowers Companion. We hope you've enjoyed. If I don't doubt that we fucked up some rules here. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will endeavor to respond in a timely fashion. Otherwise, we'll see you again soon when we're back. Thanks.